Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heroes of the Vale. It's our inaugural session. So, thanks for joining us as we kick off our campaign. It's pretty fun. Not only am I dealing with six formidable players, but we have everyone watching along. So, hopefully, I can keep up with everybody. But I kind of have a sense with this group, I'm just got to set up situations and let the six of you take it from there. So, speaking of our six intrepid players, why don't we start up in the upper left corner with TJ and go around and give everyone a chance to introduce themselves and their character.
Hello, I am Keen Velthorin Deapreth, Eladrin of the Feywild.
Hello, I'm Penelope Halfpint. Nice to meet you. Do you want to be my friend?
I am Briv Steelmarrow, sometimes called Briv the Bold. I'll take whatever flattering compliment you would like to append to my name.
Why, hello. I'm Orkira Ildrex of the clan Ildrex. I'll be your cleric dragonborn of Paylor.
I think we lost Todd.
We lost Todd. It's over.
Right. That's hard to follow. My name's Avrin. I am the perfect warlock, and you are all very lucky to have me.
And I am Flapper, and I'm an Aarakocra Ranger.
As I said, I don't know if I'm going to have to throw many challenges your way. I suspect this group will do a good job of getting themselves in trouble. And trouble is what you have gotten yourselves into, as the six of you just recently found yourselves imprisoned, but not for necessarily just reasons. To fully understand, we have to take a step back and take a look at the Nentir Vale, the setting of our campaign. The Nentir Vale is one small, safe outpost of civilization in an incredibly dangerous world. Yet even within the Vale itself, there are many monsters and threats. You, six of you, are currently in Fallcrest, the largest town within the Nentir Vale, and by any measure, the safest place within it. And that is perhaps why you came here, in search of adventure or in search of safety. But alas, the Nentir Vale, though relatively safe, is not currently experiencing much stability or safety. 3 years ago, a great comet appeared in the sky, and slowly over the course of a single night, streaked across from one end of the Vale to the next. When it reached the far eastern end, it disappeared. And since then, the Vale has known nothing but trouble. Caravans have gone missing, entire settlements have disappeared. Strange events seem to dog every attempt to carve out any new settlements, to spread the borders of civilization beyond the narrow confines they occupy within the Vale. Nothing but bad luck has plagued the Vale. And that is, as the six of you arrived in Fallcrest, that is the environment you entered, as strangers, outsiders, newcomers to town. A place that was once quite welcoming is now turning a very suspicious eye toward anyone new in town, seeing not those in search of safety, but seeing only those who perhaps bring with them trouble, ill luck, or even villainy. And so for a variety of minor infractions, the six of you soon found yourselves in the town jail. But just as quickly, in a strange change of fate perhaps, received summons. Someone in town, a minor noble, Count Ravnik, paid for your release, paid all the fines you owed, and paid enough that any jail time you may have faced or periods of hard labor have been forgiven. He sent his only known servant, a towering figure in stout steel plate mail, a knight who never speaks, only carries messages from the Count and delivers them. He arrived bearing the necessary funds to secure your release and carrying a note addressed to the six of you that said only, "Meet me tomorrow at my keep outside of town at noon." And signed, Count Rivnik. And thus you find the six of yourselves, having gathered on the short road leading outside of town, to the small stone keep that the Count lairs within. The six of you are approaching the low forest outside of town where the keep is located. It's relatively new construction. gleaming, freshly laid stone wall clustered on a small tower about 40 feet tall. But strangely, there's no hum and noise of servants or work. The gate stands open, but there are no guards, just the solitary figure clad in the imposing steel armor. But there are no servants, no animals, no stables, nothing else of note. No other sign that anyone even lives here, except for the light from a single window on the third story of the tower that twinkles and glows out. As you approach, the knight turns toward you with almost mechanical, forced movements, bows slightly, and gestures toward a door set at the base of the tower, that as the knight extends his or her arm toward it, the door opens silently. What do you wish to do?
Obviously, they are expecting us. I will walk in. Thank you, knight. I pat him on the chest, and I walk past him.
With your pat, it's like hitting solid metal.
As I walk past, I just kind of start admiring his armor. Where dost thou shop for such wonders?
The knight turns and it's the featureless, the fully visored helmet looks down at you. You see only darkness within, beyond the eye slots within the visor, and then it nods slightly and then goes back to standing at attention.
Very well.
Briv,
I keep walking.
I think he probably got it from automatons or us or something like that. You can probably find the shop easy. I'll show it to you later.
Let's discuss on the way up. Come, Maverick.
It's a big word. It's a big word. All right, I'm going in.
All right.
Orkira will bow slightly to this knight and not say anything, because she gives and she takes and she gives what she gets, and she just walks on in.
Penelope's clinging onto Keen's leg.
I am limping.
You find as you enter the tower that the interior of it, the first 2 stories, are hollow. It's one large room, a wooden ceiling, 20 feet above you, and a single stairway, narrow, no more than 5 feet across, clinging to the interior of the tower wall, winds its way up, spiraling up the interior of the tower to a opening in the floor. And that same twinkling light you see shining down into the darkness below. There's no furniture. The floor here is bare stone, but there's no sign of dust. It looks all freshly built, brand new.
A facade.
Right. Either an illusion, maybe we're not even in this room, or he's not really a living thing.
An illusion, thou
Why would he
say.
play a trick on us?
I stick my hand through it, if I can.
Nope, your hand, you touch only unyielding stone.
Is
it possible to touch the staircase?
Yes, it's made of. It's very finely made. It's wooden, finely crafted. As you touch it, feels very stout. It's been built up along the interior.
I will climb the staircase.
Yes. All right. The stairs don't even groan as you step upon them. It's the weight of your armored form as you take one step after the other. And just right halfway up, you hear a voice calling down from above. Oh, yes, my guests. Come in. We have much to discuss and little time in which to discuss it. As you make your way up to the third floor, you see a chamber equal in size to the one below. On the far end, from where you emerge, there's a wooden floor, and on the opposite side is a stone pedestal that has been placed upon the wooden floor. And almost as if where you'd expect a statue, maybe, it's about 8 feet on each side. But there's nothing here beyond the pedestal, except standing upon it is a man wearing fine silk robes, a long white beard, dark skin. He looks to be in his 70s or 80s, careworn eyes, holding a wooden staff that he leans on ever so slightly. And he sees you. Welcome. We have much to discuss, my friends. Please, make yourselves as home as you can. If you wish to sit, please, or stand as you will.
Hello, my name's Penelope. you want to be my friend?
Perhaps we shall be friends, or perhaps we shall be associates. We shall see.
Right.
give him a
I'm
piece
just
of
gonna
fruit.
sit in the biggest chair.
He takes it and looks at it. Thank you.
You are
You are
very
one
old,
of the verdant
Nancy.
realm. Yes.
You have bought my freedom, and so I will give you whatever time you require. And she'll sit.
I think we shall find that what I require shall perhaps benefit both of us, or all of us. All of you have different desires, needs, or gaps within your minds, your bodies, your souls, your hearts. And perhaps working together, we can complete each other. We can find what we seek. I have not dwelled long here. Like you, I am new to this place. And as you have pointed out, noble Dragonborn, I have purchased your freedom, though I by no means wish to abuse it. If what I propose strikes you as untoward, you may leave. Your freedom is yours. I would never think to take it. But I would perhaps seek to give you wisdom and counsel, and perhaps set a goal before you that will be a goal that will help all of you along your path to enlightenment and completion.
I
willing to
stand
listen? Hey,
ready.
Mike?
I am in thine debt.
Very well.
Well,
Hey,
first,
Mike?
before we all
Yes?
swear fealty and all that stuff, I would like to actually know what you want us to do.
Oh, fair enough. Lauren, you had a question?
Yeah, or Kira is kind of just looking at this guy, and he's given this very beautiful little speech. Is he full of it? Is he just telling us what we want to hear, and he's, is he feeding us a line? What's going on?
Give
Do I
me a
think
wisdom
he's-
insight. Actually, your choice of wisdom
Oh.
insight. Anyone who wants to make this check, go ahead. Wisdom insight or wisdom perception. Your,
Oh, we can do
your
the same.
choice. And if anyone gets over 15, let me know.
16
and then
insight.
16 on
Ooh,
okay, 16 on
22.
22.
Ooh, I got an 18.
Flapper's very perceptive.
Did we get successes with both perception and insight, or just one or the other? I know I have a 60. Yeah, okay, so both. So two things you notice. First, anyone using insight, studying his manner, he seems very genuine. He seems to almost regard you with the almost a paternal air. As you come in, he straightens himself up. He's looking down upon you. You feel his words. There's an earnest truth behind them. But anyone who made a DC 15 or higher perception check, I think we had at least one or maybe two, he's not breathing. And he has yet to blink since he started talking to you.
I get very close to his face. I so rarely get to see very old people, and it is fascinating.
Ah, yes, it has been quite some time since I have
He's not
visited with
breathing.
one from the verdant realm. Is this the way of your people?
King, that's a bit close. Remember we talked about boundaries in the prison.
Ah,
It's okay. I said it
boundaries.
was okay. I taught him that.
There's no better place to talk about boundaries.
Yeah, I found, yeah. There's
That
a-
might be the most important place.
yeah.
This
Amber,
all
you spoke of-
really speaks to Flapper.
Yes.
Like he doesn't care if he's alive or dead or breathing, but Flapper is nearly in tears because of the way this man is speaking to him. He misses his family so much. I will do whatever
that-
you ask.
Well,
Now that I am closer,
ask-
does he smell special?
he doesn't smell at all. There's just nothing there.
Does he
Well, you
eat the
do-
fruit?
He regards it and he looks at it almost like, oh, interesting, an object. But perhaps you will need this on your journey. He extends it back out to you.
I kind of
A
wave
gift
my hand
given
at
cannot be
Keen,
taken
hoping
back.
he'll throw it to me.
Oh, that he tosses it to Briv. Ah, yes.
No,
Avrin,
I've
you-
heard
You have asked about the task I would set before you.
yes.
It is a simple task. There is a town, or there once was a town, southwest from this place. Once it was a prosperous place. There was a silver mine nearby, in which the folk of the town worked and toiled, and their daily struggle was rewarded with great wealth. But then the comet came. And when the comet came, it brought with it a curse. All wealth within the town fled, left, What was once a verdant place of riches and wealth and ambition became a place only of ruin and emptiness. Soon the people left the town of Kiristan. You may have heard it if you ask around in town. And the locals, the folk of Fallcrest will repeat my tale. The town's curse robbed it of all material wealth, and with material wealth went the town's ambition, and soon the place was abandoned. I would like you to go to this place and break this curse. I believe I know the entity that is responsible for it. I believe it is someone or something that is connected to me, and that if you are willing to brave the dangers of the town itself, for since falling into ruin, surely evil creatures have taken up residence there. But if you can find this entity, the one responsible for this curse, and he reaches into the folds of his robes and pulls out what looks like a battered playing card. Except when he turns it towards you, you see one of the sides is blank. Defeat him, or it, and present him or it with this, and you shall bind his soul into it and break the curse. Then return it to me. And perhaps if you find this quest rewarding, if you find it perhaps enlightening, I shall have others for you.
What dost thou know of this vile fiend?
I believe it is one who covets all wealth, but has no use for it. One who takes everything away that one values and destroys it, leaving nothing, not even pieces for a vulture to pick over, or a thief to spirit away into the night. I believe it is one who wants only to bring ruin to all.
Right.
I take the
Well, that could
card.
describe a dragon or a rust
Hands it to
monster. So,
One might say that this is one who a creature such as a dragon might be well acquainted with, but it is no dragon. Dragons, after all, hoard treasure. This one ruins them.
oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be
So
very,
be it,
very
then.
bad.
It could be very
It is our
good.
duty to cleanse this place.
Whoa.
Very well.
Right. Yes. Fine. That sounds great. I mean, I understand that you want to, get a complete set of your cards. So yeah, this sounds like a really fun adventure. No one's going to die.
Is
There
thou
is no
frightened,
picture on this.
Davrin?
Not frightened so much as just, trying not to die. So
Orkira's gonna walk on over to Keen as he's looking at this playing card, and she's gonna just kind of examine it while he's looking at it. And does it look magical in any way? Does it look like all he said is hold this thing up and bind the soul? Can she see how to activate it?
Give me your choice of an intelligence arcana or intelligence history check.
Oh, both of those are awesome. I'll do an arcana since I'm kind of looking for magic. That's a 5.
5? It just looks like a Monday. The one thing is, while it's kind of worn, it looks to be in good condition. It doesn't look frayed. It looks a little frayed, but it almost looks as if that is an act of artifice. That by design, this card looks worn down. But it's not actually
little
frayed.
foxing
It's
on the
like
edges.
the paper fibers.
can I check it out?
Here, I give it to you.
Oh, weird. What is this magic?
The magic card.
There's not any holy
wow.
magic that I know.
Averin got let's say 19 plus 4, so 23.
Oh.
This is a card from the deck of many things.
Oh,
It's
right.
blank.
Okay, right then. Yeah. So
You keep it.
I guess this is the guy who makes it.
This is Mr. Many Things. Oh, okay.
Oh, Mr. Yeah. Many things. Right. Okay, well then I'm on board because he's very powerful. I just kind of hold the card up. I'm like, legit. It's good stuff.
Do you know how to make it work when we find the thing responsible?
I don't know. Maybe we kill it and then we just press it on his face, or we could ask the wizard who has a blinking problem.
Once he is weakened and his hold on his material form is disrupted, present the card and it shall draw forth his magic and capture it safely.
Nice.
At least as safe as it can be until perhaps someone attempts to draw.
If you know this person, do you know his name?
Yes, he goes by a single word as his name. Ruin. That is his name, and that is what he
I like
represents.
that name.
No,
Right.
Penelope, this is not a good name. I assure thee.
I have to side with Brev on this one. He's
I
quite
must
right.
disagree. It is a good name in that it tells you what it is. There is no
Sir.
facade, no deception. The card is
Sir,
face up. Yeah, yes, Flapper?
I owe you so much already, and I don't mean to ask for more, but what do you plan to do with this magic when we bring it back to you?
What shall I do with it?
Yes?
Perhaps a better question shall be, what shall you do with it?
Oh, I like
Deck.
that. That's fun.
The deck has no motive of its own. It simply waits for one to come and draw from it. And he pulls from his robe a box that he opens, and you see it's empty. But it looks like it's sized to hold a deck of cards, similar to the card that he just handed to you. But the deck is scattered. The deck has been unleashed. The forces within it have escaped. But perhaps if you are to bring them back together, perhaps you could master the deck's possibilities, or fall prey to them. Closes the box. Such is the way of the deck.
Scavenger hunt.
A
Right.
scavenger
Right.
hunt of evil demons that ruin towns.
Oh,
Keen, did
sounds
you
like
hear?
more
It's a
fun.
hunt.
My common to Elven translator book says ruin means the physical destruction of disintegration or of something, or the state of something. This is not a good name. Why are we hunting this man?
Perhaps
Perhaps
it's because
it's
he is ruining.
For fortune
Maybe-
and glory, Keen.
I
And
bet
valor.
you.
Yes, Keen. One would not be able to deny valor and glory and song indeed to he who reunifies the deck of many things. Even in your verdant realm, they have heard of this artifact, have they not?
I have heard of it, but it causes chaos. Sometimes. More often than not.
Sometimes.
Is this man evil, though?
His actions are evil, but his nature, it is in his nature to ruin. That is what he is. That's how he was cast, and that is his role in the deck. But his
I think everyone's nature can be
motivations are-
good. We just have to
Right,
give him a
but
chance.
usually if someone's name is Ruin, they tend not to be a good Samaritan, right? Like if someone's name's Stabby, that's not the guy you go to necessarily for friendship advice and things like that.
Yes.
Just
The deck
FYI.
the deck should have no will of its own, but since it has been sundered, it has acquired the will that matches the nature of its being, of its result. And so perhaps while this one would not think of itself as evil, it is an elemental force. It clearly wreaks havoc upon the world. And perhaps the town, Kirisdan is only its first victim. Who can say when its hunger will be sated and it shall move on?
I will take
So-
Penelope to the side, if I may, and say, Penelope, do you believe that this is worth doing?
Absolutely. It sounds like there's somebody who can use our help. You know, they seem evil, but we should give them a chance to make them our friend.
Fine. Let us go then. I am ready, as is Penelope. Let us ruin.
I stand ready.
Right, good point.
I'm always ready.
That's true. I stand up as well and just kind of jiggle my great sword on my back and start heading out the door. And I pocket the card in my sleeve.
Worry not, Avrin. I shall protect thee.
I thank you, Brev. I feel very warm and fuzzy right now. because
As
of
everyone's
that.
getting up
The
and
protection.
starting to leave, Okira's going to stand up and look at this count and say, "Who pulled the card?"
If only I knew, but I am but a trusted vizier in your quest, And no, not this, but perhaps it is a question well worth answering.
Okira's going to think about this and nod and follow everybody out.
The knight shall have supplies ready for you. So it calls down after you as you make your way down the steps. And as you reach the courtyard, you can see that a wagon has just arrived, pulled by 2 horses, and is laden with supplies for your trip. And the workers who delivered it are just making their way back down the road toward town. The knight stands, one armored fist holding the reins of the horses on the cart, and turns its helmet toward you.
I go immediately to the horses and kind of start examining them, petting them.
I do too. I go pet them.
I try to move the face of the helmet of the knight. Like I try to open his helmet.
When you go to reach out, in the blink of an eye, you feel a cold iron hand wrapped around your wrist. Not cruelly, but holding you at bay. And the head slowly takes back.
You're right. I didn't ask. I should have asked beforehand. I know some people are not very physically affectionate. So, yeah, right. Well, you can remove your cold metal, potentially empty hand now.
The knight takes a step back as it lets go.
Averin, stop playing with the knight that doesn't want to talk to you and pull out your map. We need to know where
it's so
this thing...
fun.
Your definition of fun does not align with mine. Do you have a map of this area?
Well, we have I probably do, but I would definitely... I think Flapper is the genius when it comes to finding our way, I believe. Right, Flapper?
Where are we? What are we looking
well,
for?
maybe not. Maybe, okay, I might have been incorrect on that. We are at Wizard Tower, Flapper.
Grade, you guys.
We're not
I'm
super far from
sorry.
town. It's okay, Flapper, don't get insecure. It's fine. I've got this.
Flapper, do you have a map?
No.
What
I
is it?
took all my
What happens?
possessions
We're not
in
going
prison.
through Cloakwood, are we? We're very close to Cloakwood. We're not going through
Right,
it, are
I
we?
get out my map. Sorry, Flapper, to involve you in this situation. I just felt like you've been really good at finding things. Not always your way, personally. So, okay, I opened up the map and I tried to find this town.
Yep, you see that Kiristan is... You are in Fallcrest, and Kiristan is located on the opposite side of the Cloakwood.
What is the Cloakwood, and why are you worried?
Oh no! Penelope jumps
Well-
on top of the carriage. Oh my god! Torag! Torag might get us! Everyone get off the ground! He might grab you and pull you into the Underdark! I've heard stories.
The what? Stories of what?
Underdark.
Yeah. Well, Hope, you're very small, so it's very unlikely he would grab you first. He'd probably go for either me or Keen. Even Briv.
Really?
And Flapper can
Yes,
know,
fly.
I
just-
obviously go for the
I
greatest
can carry
challenge.
you, Penelope.
Okay.
Get on my
You're right.
back.
I'm very brave. I'm very brave. I'm very brave.
Have no fears,
Right.
I shall protect all of ye.
Penelope,
Rick,
what
on your
is this
shield.
thing that you... What is this thing that you fear?
You haven't heard the stories of Torog? You know, the god. He pulled Cloakwood into the Underdark and twisted it, and now it is evil and dark. And eviler and darker than evil and dark.
All the more
Well, who's
reason
to
for us
say?
to travel there and set things right.
We have the
I mean,
light of
I-
Palor on our side. There is no reason to fear.
I
I think
It's very
evil is a
unnatural
matter
in
of
there.
perspective. Have I ever been to Cloakwood?
You can give me a intelligence, say nature or history check if you want to see what you're all about.
I'm all about that nature.
Penelope's
Oh.
tale rings true. Anyone who has heard of the Cloakwood. What she
I
says
actually
is
got
true.
an 18. Ah! I got an 18.
So looking at your map and thinking of the tales you've heard, the Cloakwood is, as Penelope describes it, incredibly dangerous. Creatures of it has been warped and twisted by Torog, become a dark mirror of a forest. They acquire many of the traits of the Underdark. Looking at your map, you know there are very few paths through it that you can trust. But perhaps you could go around, but even then there is danger. For the Cloakwood it has its name from the great mist that covers it, that shields it from the sun. And at times, if the winds blow poorly, or some folks say if Torog wills it, the mist drifts away from the Cloakwood and brings with it the terrible monsters that dwell within the Twisted Forest.
Right. So let's not annoy Torog or even say his name for probably the rest of the day. And I think
It's
we
a
should
matter
go
of
right to the Cloakwood.
efficiency. We should go through the Cloakwood.
I agree.
What is
with
the
Brad.
time of day? What time of day is it?
Your meeting was at noon. It's still a little bit afternoon. So it's about...
And how long will it take us to get through this Cloakwood?
So looking, Avron, looking at your map and judging the distance, it would probably take about 2 days to go around the Cloakwood. Kiristan's not that far away, but going through the Cloakwood would probably take about a day. It would.
We should probably leave early in the morning to take full advantage of the daylight. I do not want to be caught there in the night.
It doesn't matter.
Well, but
Cloakwood is always dark.
how long does
But
it
it
take
will be
to get
darker at night.
right through the center? How long does that take?
Well, you wouldn't have to necessarily go through the center. Like looking at the map and judging like what the quickest would be from A to B. Yeah. So you can imagine if you look looking at the forest, it's fairly rectangular, so you'd be going across a narrow gap within it to get to Kiristan.
This would also give us a
Not
chance.
gap, but a narrow point.
We could talk to some of the refugees that came from Kiristan and find out what we are walking into. I might know of some of them. I've been working with some of the refugees that come in, asking questions, healing those that are injured. Maybe we can find some more information?
Yeah, or Kira, that definitely the name of the town rang a bell with you. And so, there are at least a few families in town that came to Fall Crest from Kiristan.
Yeah,
Wait
I'd imagine
minute.
Orkira has been like going through all the refugees that have been coming in, not just like healing, but also just like subtly asking, so what have you seen? What's been going on? What's, fire in the sky. Was it the comet or maybe something else? So I would hope that she might know like a couple people to go talk to. Or do you think she's heard some stories already?
You can go ahead and give me I'd say this is probably like charisma persuasion check. See, like as you've talked to folk, they've opened up.
Persuasion. All right.
That'd
Were
be
we
a 12.
not here for lunch?
Did you take?
I do
advantage
not
of the roll?
recall eating a thing.
I had the 12.
I go
apple,
back
remember?
up to the tower and just see if I can get back inside.
Oh yeah, the door remains open. The knight is standing on guard. With the 12, Orkira, you recall that it was a mining town. That's definitely for sure. The folk you talked to were miners. They mentioned that. They were pretty quiet about what actually happened. You know that sometimes like folk are leery of sharing too much for fear that they might be accused of like harboring a curse. That rather than the curse being on the town, it's upon the people of the town, and they might carry it with them. But you did know that all of them were desperately poor. None of them had a single silver coin to call their own. They may have had some like goods, food, tools, and things like that. A lot of them were looking for work, but they've been living off the land and making their way here. And all of them were desperately poor. If they couldn't find work quickly, they relied on the help of others to sustain themselves until they could find work or move on.
Well, I wouldn't have pushed if they didn't want to talk about it once it was very obvious that they weren't referencing something I was interested in. I would have just listened like in sympathy and then just tried to help. I know some people we can try to talk to if we want to spend the afternoon and leave fresh in the morning.
That sounds good.
Listen,
This is a good way.
Yeah, you know several of the folk who came from the miners, since they were accustomed to hard work. They're working down on the docks in Fallcrest. There's a river that runs through town, so they were working on as dock hands.
I do my best to be friendly, but I'm not always the most approachable. And she'll smile, her big draconic smile with all the sharp teeth, and she'll say, "Now, maybe one of you will have better luck getting more information if I can show you who to talk to."
I can probably get information out of someone.
Friendly. Friendly.
Right.
They're
No, absolutely.
people.
Friendly. Yeah. In a friendly way.
Okay.
I will find information.
After a little while, I hopefully come back down with a little bit of food in my arms.
There was also food in the back on the wagon.
Okay. I am eating.
Briv, like how much food does Briv have?
It's got
Is
there's
that
a
our
lot of supplies.
supplies?
You're
That's
pretty
Briv,
generously appointed.
looks like we have to go to town and buy more supplies too.
Yep, there's some fine
You seem to
cheeses,
have-
fresh fruit.
Thanks,
Oh,
Briv.
yes.
Briv,
You
You know,
you are
friends
a
share.
great protector of the pastries and the cheeses.
I actually don't eat bread. With a physique like this, do you think bread is a thing?
He is very
I-
correct. This is known.
I'm opting out. Right. Okay. Well, let's go to town and intimidate
I give some
/
cheese
persuade
to
some people
Melody.
into telling us more information about Cloakwood.
Okay.
Are we all in agreement?
So,
Yes.
Kira, did you want to follow up with some of the contacts you've made?
Yeah, I'll bring
as far as
everybody
the refugees?
over. Yeah, I'll bring everybody over to the docks and see if I can see somebody that I recognize. Maybe someone I gave some healing to, or helped out in whatever meager way I could, so they might be more inclined to answer my questions.
Sure, yeah. So looking about, heading down toward the docks, there's a few barges that have pulled in. There's folk moving cargo on and off. It's a real hustle and bustle. It's the kind of place as you're walking through, you kind of feel like you just naturally want to keep to the side. Otherwise, you'll get run over by someone charging through, carrying a few crates. Time is money down here on the dock. So as quickly as they can get goods offloaded and unloaded, the more money that the laborers can make. But Orkira, you see a young dwarf woman, who is, you remember her as being something of a leader of a group of refugees that came to town from Kiristan. And she's standing on a few wooden crates that have been stacked up and shouting orders. You, move it! The turnips go on last, you blockhead! Pull them off and bring on the grain first. Shouting orders back and forth. But as the crew gets to work loading up the barge, she stops shouting orders now that they're finally getting it right, and is just keeping a keen eye out on the work crew. And she, as you approach, she sees you and recognizes you and gives you a curt nod. Which is,
Do I
as far as
remember her
dwarven
name?
standards go, is yes, her name is Agara.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give her a nod back. And Agara, it is good to see you have found work.
It is good to work. It is when I am happiest, is when I am helping our community prosper, when I am making something out of this world and of myself. For a while, it seemed as if there would be no work to find.
Well, I'm glad that you have found and that things have gotten better. You had told me that you had come from Kiristan?
Yes, I once dwelled there. Why would you speak of Kiristan? That place is cursed.
We've recently heard of the curse and we had some questions. It seems like we're being sent to do something about the curse. And she'll kind of turn to everybody and say, these are acquaintances of mine, and we're
Hail
being
and
sent
well
to
met.
try to fix things. And she'll kind of make room
Don't
for
know if-
somebody else to come forward and talk.
Hi, I'm
Right.
Philippi. You want to be my friend?
I don't have time today for a new friend, but perhaps if you're looking for work, we could always use someone of your stature to get down below in the back corners of the barges, where we can always fit a few more things, where sometimes the crates hit up against the side and leave an empty spot. We'd fit a few more things. We'd be least 5% more
sounds like
efficient
fun.
if we could do that.
Do we
She
have time
already
to do
has a
that?
job.
It would be better than going to Kiristan.
Right. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you got from Kiristan through the Cloakwood to here? Do you have like advice about going through the Cloakwood?
Through the Cloakwood? We went around, you fool. Why would we go through? I value my life. Though I didn't have much left of value after that night, after the curse. You don't know much about it, do you? You can't. You must know nothing. Otherwise, why would you go there? At least, why would you go there with anything you value? But you say you would break the curse. Well, do you know anything of it? Have you heard any of the tales?
Thou shouldest share what you know.
She kind of crouches down a little bit conspiratorially, looking about at the crew. You over there! Keep moving! Oh, yes. There is not much to tell, though it was terrible. The silver mine, it had yielded well and steadily for many years. My clan had prospered by it. And then the night the comet came and made its way across the sky. The next day, it was all gone. All of it. And that's why we left.
When you mean all of it, do you mean everything valuable was gone? Even in the sense of like you valued something that maybe no one else did, and that thing was gone as well.
No. Thank Moradin, my family, my clan, all of us were in good health. And she reaches into her belt pouch and pulls out a few copper coins. Every coin, every gem, every vein of silver we had extracted and were working on in that mine, gone. No
How
sign
much did you lose?
Our entire clan's wealth. The wealth of all the human folk, everyone who lived there. All of it was gone. We did
Do you
not
have a
have
number?
2 copper coins. What is the value of a town, of a thriving mine? Even the areas where we're mining, the veins were gone. Just plain rock and stone. Worthless. We dug
If
for a
I
time.
may ask you a question, who was the leader of your town at the time of this happening?
That would be Baron Copperlocks, a human. His family had discovered the mine, and my clan had allied with him when we came to the Vale many years ago. He owned the most lavish, largest building in town, but the golden candelabras in his hall, gone. The silver clasps for his curtains, gone. The curtains scattered about the floor, as if a servant had carelessly just tossed them aside to clean the silver.
What
Everything
of thy
And where
steel?
is he?
It hit his family the hardest. They stayed. They did not listen. My folk left soon. We left quickly. We could see that there was dark magic at work. But he refused. He insisted that it was a trick, and someone simply wanted us to steal our wealth. That if we dug deeper into the mine, what magic could steal the silver from the earth? There was, if we just dug a bit deeper, that we would find more. And so we left.
Was there anyone
heard-
who hated the town?
No, who would? Well, beyond the dark powers, beyond raiding orcs, but this was no work of violence. This is no goblin work or orc raid or marauding gnolls. This was something else. But what it was, I can't say. I'm no wizard or sage.
What of
I
thy
tell you,
steel
I can
there?
tell you only what I saw.
Weapons, armor. Was it just thine
All
silver?
of that remained. Thankfully, thank Moradin, our tools remained. We were able to come here and find work. And she gestures. You'd see there are dwarves amongst the dock workers. Our tools are intact. If Moradin willing, someday we establish a new mine, we'll be ready. Without our tools, without our supplies, food, we surely would not have been able to survive the even brief journey. But yeah, only our money, everything of value to us. Not value in terms of our spirits, our hearts, but in terms of cold hard cash, the yield of the earth. Gems, coins.
And yet
And as I
that
said,
was
even
enough.
the veins of silver.
That was enough to let you leave, to make you abandon your home.
What else, if the mine is done, what point, what toil would we have? What work would we have to do? It was nothing, just to sit and fall into ruin. We would not be able to trade. We would not be able to buy. We were not a farming community. We were miners. That is what we knew. We
So
delved into the earth, extracted silver, crafted it, and traded it for everything that sustained our community.
right. So what's the most direct route to the town then?
If you are fool enough, through the cloakwood. But well, I would not seek to advise one such as you. If you seek to return to Kira's Dawn, then clearly you are cut from a different cloth than I am.
Yes. All of us are. I personally would like to go the most direct route and get this done.
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Do you, Agra, do you know anyone who came straight through the Cloakwood who might be able to give us some advice on going through?
No. But I would say this. Move swiftly. And don't spend the night there.
This is good advice. Thank you.
So for
Penelope,
but a
I know
day's
you were
journey-
scared.
But
go ahead,
for a
Brett.
day's journey, we don't need supplies, correct? So we can get our own means of travel. We can all mount up. We can ride through the Cloakwood, eat on the other side, have the adventure, call it a day, come back to the non-breathing count. Everyone wins. Very simple.
If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with many. I believe that we should stay together. We do not know what to expect in this place, and we have learned nothing. Besides, I do not want to pay for something I do not have money for.
I agree with Keen. These are wise words. We've been brought together,
Me too.
and I think if we have any
to be
hope
clear,
of
we would travel together. I'm just simply saying, let's leave wagon behind. Worry not about supplies. Travel through the Cloakwood quicker. Then do what we need to on the other side. It sounds as if we don't have wealth. This is the perfect town to visit.
how many horses do we have? We just have the two that are pulling the cart, right? Does anyone else have any horses?
Yeah. The cart's large enough that you'd be able to ride on it. If some of you climbed on the back and some of you were steering.
I trust that we could find other horses if needed.
I trust we can find,
you
but can
all-
we afford?
And are
We can
you
be
all
on
master
horse.
riders? I know that animals
no.
do not like the unseen, and the Cloakwood sounds unseen. And we can control too, but if we each have a horse and we are not master riders, this could go poorly.
Very well. We shall travel with the wagon as long as the traveling happens. To adventure.
Right.
In the morning.
Sure.
In the morning.
Sure, fine
the
enough.
cloak,
Yeah,
but-
we'll sleep on it, and everything will be fine. And that way we'll have more daylight. Penelope, I know you are very, very tiny, but you're going to be tall in courage, and you're going to do exceptionally well in the Cloakwood. Trust me, we can all feel it.
Okay.
Penelope,
Would the mist
I
and the
have a
trees
question.
make it impossible for could Flapper fly above and see what's ahead?
You could. Well, it might be hard to see through the mist, depending on how the wind's blowing. But I mean, you could try. It would be difficult to see down. You might be able to hear things.
I will do that.
Okay.
Penelope, I have a question. Where I am from, in the Feywild, I have a weapons master. He is the greatest of the warriors, and he has seen much battle. Do you have such people here? Where would I find the great warriors in this town? I wish to ask them about this Cloakwood.
Look no further.
Yeah. That.
Briv, you know about the Cloakwood?
I don't know of the Cloakwood, but he asked for the greatest warriors in the town.
Fair enough.
The other great warriors that have been in the Cloakwood are the ones that we should perhaps talk to. Where would we find others like you here in this town?
The
Probably drinking.
you've heard of so you've heard of the Lucky Gnome Taphouse, and that's where some of the rough and tumble crowd like to gather and swap tales.
Gnomes, they are very friendly. Let us go.
Oh,
What is it?
I march
So,
directly into the Lucky Gnome.
Okay, you make your way into the Lucky Gnome. It's a little bit of a rundown establishment, though to your eyes, coming from the verdant realm of the Feywild, it looks about the same as everything else around here, somewhat drab maybe compared to what you're used to. It's down by the water, and as you walk in, you see as one there is a tap room with a low ceiling, maybe 7 feet tall, give or take. And as one, the dozen or so rough and tumble trackers, scouts, maybe if you're uncharitable, you might call them criminals, but who are we to judge? They all as one turn and look at you. And you can tell as soon as you step through the door, all the conversation that was going on came to an immediate halt. Everyone is staring.
Welcome, warriors. I have questions. You have answers. Let us talk.
See a grizzled old woman dressed in the leathers of a trapper glares at you. If you got coin, I might have answers. And everyone else kind of looks at you, then goes back to their low conversations as she steps up and walks over to you.
Avron is immediately looking for a game. I'm looking to make some money. If we're going into a tavern.
There is some gambling taking place.
I don't care if it's Dragon Chess or some kind of Dragon card game, or if it's even me just kind of doing a shell game. But I'm making money.
Yep. There are like 4
wants
halflings.
a half pint of mead.
The grizzled old gnome behind the bar hops to it, serves you drinks. Avron, you're able to find there's a group of halflings in the corner rolling dice. One of them lifts up his eye patch to give you the look over and drops it back down, and they make space for you if you want to gamble. And Keen, the woman walks over to you and looks you up and down. So, Outlander, what is it you seek?
I wish to know about this thing they call the cloakwood.
Oh, the cloakwood.
If one was to travel through it, what would one expect?
To die. But you might be able to make it. The chase really, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm very hungry. It's been a while since I've had my breakfast. Maybe, she looks back over at the gnome behind the bar. Maybe if you got us a nice spread of food and a couple coins to tide me over tonight for some strong drink, I can tell you what I know.
Or Kira is going to
buys
pat Keen.
food for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Or
Kira will
I
join
invite her
Flapper.
over.
She'll pat Keen on the shoulder
Drinks
and
on
say,
me!
keep talking. The bird and I will get you all set up. And I'll go over with Flapper and I'll throw in a couple of coins to help pay for everything. And we'll start bringing over drinks and food for
All right.
old grizzled warrior lady.
Luckily, the
normal
crowd
that.
isn't very large and the drinks are cheap. So you're able, with a couple gold coins, able to get food and drink for everybody. The crowd warms up quite a bit. Everyone's like, oh, looking. Anyone got a passive perception of 14 or higher?
I do. 14.
Oh, so Orkira, you can see, everyone else sees, oh, look,
I
they're
do.
friendly. They're looking at us and talking, and you can see, oh, look, they're sizing us up and figuring out, okay, what's the best way to rob these people? Get them drunk and rob them before they head out.
As I'm bringing over stuff with Flapper, if I notice the friendly people, I'll just kind of give head nods, and those that seem to be sizing me up or us up, I'd love to grin with nice sharp dragon teeth right at them.
They take a few steps, kind of to ease deeper back into their seats and make it clear maybe they don't want to cross the Dragonborn today.
Yeah.
The woman, Keen, she sits down and starts eating. There's a big plate of food in front of her. It says, you want to know about the cloakwood, huh? I've been through it a couple times. Sometimes it's best if you don't want anyone to follow you. The cloakwood's maybe the best of several not so great options. distance. The important thing is speed. If the faster you go, the less likely it is that anything will notice you. And your group, the 6 of you, I think about traveling on foot. The little one, she looks over at Penelope. She might need some help making her way through. But horses, no. That's a good way. A horse is just a big 500-pound distraction if you try to bring one into the cloakwood. They can't keep their nerve. Unless you've got magic, or unless the horse is very well trained. It's going to have trouble keeping its wits about it. But she kind of looks over all of you. There's one route that's a pretty quick path through, but I can't remember. I find if I have a really nice big haunch of mutton in my stomach, it really helps my memory, and maybe a few coins to keep me in mutton for a couple extra days. Just putting my mind at ease. Oh, good. Oh, what do you know now? Just exactly what I needed. Do you have a map, or do you need one?
I believe we do. Who has the map?
I do.
Not I.
I'm rolling dice.
Has he gambled it away? Does he still own the map?
Has he?
I don't know.
Why don't you give me a wisdom insight check? See how well the gambling's going.
Oh, I wanted to try to use a bit of sleight of hand on the dice, and kind of get the score I wanted to.
Give me a dexterity sleight of hand check.
And I wanted to use minor illusion. Yeah, I'm using minor illusion to try to get the number right. I'm doing this whole.
Okay, I'll give you advantage on that check. Yep.
Out of jail for a couple of hours, and we're just going right back to jail. The whole group of us.
Are we doing deception on this?
I'll let you choose between deception or sleight of hand. Whether you think it's more charisma deception, if you think you're just trying to distract them, say, oh hey, look over there, or if you're just trying to manipulate the dice and augment with you, then dexterity, sleight of hand.
22.
Okay, so as you sit down, you realize these guys have had a few drinks, and so your pitter patter, your distraction, they are not only are you able to trick them to not really notice how hot your hand is, you're even able, getting over 20, to start making them think that the halfling with the eye patch, that he's cheating. And so they start paying a lot more attention to him, and they're giving him oh, really? That's not always the pat in the eye you're wearing that patch over. Funny, I haven't seen you around town in a while. And they start, so they're actually not paying much attention to you as you're quietly and cleanly and elegantly cleaning them out to the tune of 8 gold pieces.
Sweet. Oh. Yeah, I've never really trusted. I know I'm new to this bar, and I don't know everyone here, but I have to say that this eye patch person here, he's putting out a bad negative vibe. And he's been kind of eyeing your pockets and stuff like that. So I'd watch out for him. But thank you so much for my winnings. You guys have a nice day, and absolutely don't fight each other. That would be wrong.
The guy in the eye patch, when you said he hops up, fine. This place smells bad anyway. He looks you right in the eye. Might not be the last time we cross paths, friend. Best to hold your tongue when you're dealing with members of the Fell Court. And he pushes his way past you. And when he says that, the other halflings, they look over at you and turn their back to you.
I'll hold your tongue anytime. Bye.
That's the only part of the conversation I heard, and I do not understand it. What does it mean to hold someone's tongue?
It depends.
Here's a...
The tracker
depends
who you ask.
He's going to back away.
Stick your tongue out, Keen. Trust me. All right. Now try to talk.
I did not understand.
Exactly. That's holding someone's tongue.
Tis what it means.
So that way you don't speak.
Your ways are very strange. Okay.
Yep. They are. That's true. Right. All right. So I have gold.
Do you have the map?
We have information.
Oh, here's the map too. I have
we
gold
have
and a map.
New
I like gold,
information.
but I like
We do
maps.
not need horses
Did
any
this
longer.
woman have a map? Because she
Like,
knows
I
a
could have
direct
had one.
route.
Yeah, but if you have a map and you have some gold to go with it, I could show you a way through, the
Afrin,
way
give
I
me
like
one
to
of those
use.
gold pieces.
She just bought all this food.
Okay,
Give it.
right. I hand
I will tell
her
these
a gold
people that
piece.
you cheated them.
Oh, she takes it. She leans over on the map and pulls out from her belt some ink and a quill. And surprisingly, for someone so hunched over, leather face, looks like she spent years on the road, pulls out a vial of ink and a quill and proceeds to write with startlingly good penmanship, elegantly flowing, marks a path and sketches in 2 stone pillars. Says, look for these. This where you find the stone pillars, just due west of Fallcrest. Head out down the King's Road, but don't turn away from westward. Continue across the downs, and you'll find these pillars. When you get there, move fast. Through the pillars, straight west. Don't vary your path. And then you'll come out the other side, and you'll know you've done well if you're alive when you come out the other side. But there are pillars there if your path is true. Should only take a couple hours. I've run it myself a few times, but always alone. And I've made it, though I can't say that anyone who's tried to chase me into the forest has made it themselves. At least they never, they didn't chase me out to the other side.
Is this a
I'm
path
still
the
here.
entire way?
It is a path, but be wary of following any paths. Keep to the west. The Cloakwood doesn't like visitors. It will try to take you off your path.
Do any of you have a compass?
Crawls.
He who crawls?
Ah, yes, and she looks around. The forest is his.
What is that? He who crawls.
The one below, the one who turned the Cloakwood into what it is, the one who burrows into the earth with its heart. He
Is this-
delights in pulling those who wander into his realm down into the Underdark.
Tis
I look
this
at Penelope.
Torog.
Everyone in the bar goes quiet and looks over at you. Shh!
I walk away.
Don't say that.
What? I have no fear
Remember,
of this
we had a
Torog.
conversation about saying this name out loud.
Do not say it a third time.
Torok?
Ah!
Everyone's moving away from you. Well, brave half-orc, if you have no fear, then go to the edge of town and say Torog at the top of your lungs until he arrives.
Oh,
Do
Brit.
not do
Just
this.
don't do it anywhere near me.
And we trust
Right,
this woman. We're not getting any weird vibes from her.
You can give me a wisdom insight check.
19 for me.
You can see that based on her
18.
scars, with a 19 and 18, she seems forthright. She seems pretty eager to make money off of you. But judging from her dress and the way she's holding herself, she seems like she spent a lot of time in the wilds. And the way she was speaking with just a very an ease to her voice, she's speaking from experience. Like when she was describing things to you and marking them out, she was like walking through her mind. So it was the experience of a master, an expert, someone who's done this before.
You have passed on this wisdom before. Your penmanship is excellent.
Oh, thank you. Wasn't always a tracker.
What were you?
I think my life story might cost a little bit more, but things change, lives change. I know a few magic tricks. And she looks over at Averin. Pick them up in a more maybe academic setting than this one in his illusions.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Wizards get snotty.
What
It's
What was
earned,
your
friend.
name?
Oh, what was my name? My name is Killian. That is my name then. It is my name now.
Maybe once we
Those who would seek
return
to do
from
me
our
harm are, Oh, I'd say
Maybe
that those who those who seek to harm me I have a way of taking care of them. But you were saying
maybe once
Friend
we
Jack.
return from our trip and we have used your advice wisely, we'll share our
Yes.
story and maybe buy you some more drinks and you can share
Yeah.
yours.
I could find that perhaps if you follow my advice and make it there and back again.
Maybe you want to come
Perhaps.
with us.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
I
I'd
shall
ask.
report to thee what happens when I call out Torog's name at the edge of the woods. But I'll wait
No.
until we return to do such.
Right.
Ah,
There's a
very well,
time and
perhaps
place
one
for
of these-
calling out.
I don't have the time now.
A pity.
Right. Well, thank you for your
Well-
time. I lean over to her and I just kind of hand her an extra gold coin, and I just kind of whisper
She
like, "If there's
plucks it.
anyone else on the make, any kind of arcane items that you know of, treasures, let me know. Just come to me first."
Well, I shall.
I get up and get on a single knee and take her hand and press it against my head. Thank you, elder woman. Your life has been useful to us, as is your wisdom. Another time for more stories.
Yes, I have never been so honored and insulted. Who are you calling elder? Sonny, I can walk from one end of the veil to the other in the time it takes you to put your pants on in the morning. But I will take in the spirit
Dean,
you
we
offer.
discussed this.
Thank you.
But I thought it was a good... The elder is not good? Or my pants are slow? I do not understand you people.
Save it for
he's very
old
new
daughters
to
who.
common.
Yes. Fair enough. Not from around here, I can see.
Elder is a good
Orkira's
thing
going to
where I
push
come
over
from.
what's left of her drink over to Keen and say, "It's okay, you're doing fine."
Very difficult. Very strange.
As soon as he tries to take a drink, I pat him on the back quite hard.
I
almost did it in real life.
Everyone's going to go to the bar and grab just a full bottle of liquor or spirits, whatever, and just leave.
Okay. Your tab
Unless
is
this is where
enough
we're
to
staying.
cover that. Yep.
Okay.
They don't have rooms right here. You could find somewhere else though in town.
Okay.
All right.
Was there
And we can
anything
assume
else
you
we
have
we
a
needed
start-
to
conversation
do?
set up, so.
As we start to go out, I see that Penelope has the half pint, and I just kind of approach her and then just nod and I say, "Thou art definitely on brand." And then I walk out.
It's okay.
She is drunk. Very good.
I've had a whole half pint of mead. Did
I
I
stay with
forget
her.
my nickname?
I
I
watch
thought
over
Bran
her.
died years ago. All right, so I leave the bar. I'm looking for an inn for me and my new very strange friends, including Flapper.
Sure.
And
Yeah, it's
Those
easy enough,
anything?
especially with the money you have, to find accommodations in town. So
Okay, yeah, I guess I get everyone a room,
okay.
and I get Briv the smallest room, so he feels big.
Huzzah!
No room in this inn can contain me.
Is there none stronger?
All right. Unless
And,
is there anything else you want to do before we head out tomorrow morning?
Before
To
the night
adventure.
goes, I do want to, I do want to like reinstill. Tell Penelope again, you're going to be amazing. Anything that even comes out of the cloakwood, you're going to kill it. You're going to be great. They're going to be more scared of
I'm
you.
gonna-
Have you ever heard of mice and elephants?
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
I'm gonna be so brave. I'm gonna be everybody's friend.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Thou art
All right. Good night, everyone.
going to be a
Everything's going to be
friend
great.
while you're killing
Okay.
it.
I am going to get into the back of the cart and see what supplies they've left for us and what we can carry without the carriage, because if what she says is true, it's unwise to take horses. So I will spread out everything for everyone to see and let them choose what is carryable and useful for them.
And you see, there's plenty of food there, more food than you would need even for the going around the long way. So you're able to find rations, dried fruit that's light but would sustain you for several days. You can assume that if you want to take a moment, essentially any mundane gear from the player's handbook, rope, spikes, things like that, they've all been carefully packed away here. So, and as part of staying in the inn, you can rent a spot in the stables for the inn to take care of the horses in the cart while you're gone.
Is there any...
Yeah, real quick. I normally want to be very boisterous and draw a lot of attention when I'm speaking, but for this, I go to the food, and knowing that it's too much, I try to carry as much as I can back to the area where we were speaking with the refugees a little bit earlier, and I am trying to avoid notice, but trying to distribute some of that food, and I'm trying to slink out of there without people knowing that.
Okay. You find many takers more than happy to get their hands on some fresh food.
And I hope I didn't take too much, but I might have, and we might be short on our journey now, but we'll see.
Is there a longbow in this?
Yeah, there are a few weapons, and there's a potion of healing, one for each of you, carefully packed away. Yeah, so we can assume there's or with if with the spare cash you have, if there's any mundane weapons that you want to pick up, you can go ahead and add those to your inventory.
Yeah, I'm for Averin. Averin's just going to go to bed. I think he's won enough games. He's probably not going to look for any more. All right, yeah, he's probably going to try to find one more game before he goes to bed.
Right, just do some light gambling before bedtime.
Yeah, it's some light gambling, some light minor illusion, that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell a great story about myself and create like fiery dragons in the sky. It's going to be great.
An audience of one.
Huh?
Okay. So sorry, go ahead.
I will
Is there anything else anyone want to do?
Penelope some extra water. She has no time to be hungover tomorrow. We will have to move very quickly.
You're my best friend.
Yes. Drink water.
Okira's going to sit in the common room and listen to Averin tell his story. And if you're talking about creating fiery dragons in the sky, she's like sitting off to the side, just like casually watching, but her eyes will get really big and she'll become fairly enraptured when you do that.
And Averin, were you doing some gambling too while you're doing this, or were you just doing just telling stories?
Yeah, I'm winning. I'm trying to win the crowd. I'm trying to get them to warm and trust me as well. And I'm telling, and the more I see Orkira pay attention, the more I suddenly call the dragon Orkira, the great dragon, the great famous dragon Orkira, of the incredibly important draconic bloodline who saved an entire village. An entire kingdom from an evil dragon, and blah blah blah. And then I start gambling.
Why don't you give me a charisma persuasion check?
Oh, not with an advantage. This is where it all falls apart. No, I'm rolling amazing. I got. You said persuasion? I got 19.
Okay. Everyone's enchanted with the story. Over the course of the evening, you make an additional 6 gold pieces and change from gambling. And everyone is just enchanted with the story. Like, wow, that was amazing. The dragon. And when you wake up the next morning and get ready to leave, there's still a few people who have gotten up early to travel. A few of them come over and say hi to you. And they talk about how the story last night was brilliant. I can't wait until we cross paths again. Looks like
I
you
would
made
be
quite the
happy to
impression.
tell you many great stories about the amazing Dragonor Kira, and of course, my humble self, Avron, the most perfect warlock in the lands.
All right. So heading out, striking out westward along the King's Road, and then over into the Cloakwood. All right.
Very
So-
specifically, continue across the downs, look for the pillars going straight west. Don't vary our path.
So who would like to navigate? And if more than one of you wants to try to navigate, you can go ahead. It's going to be a wisdom survival check. And if someone wants to assist, so either you can assist another character, or we'll need at least one person to try to make a check to navigate to get a sense to keep going due west.
Can I try to fly above? Can I see anything through the mist?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
would
I'll
we
let you. If
go
you want to fly
ahead?
above, I'll give you advantage on the check, because you would be, even if you can't quite see what's ahead, it does make it much easier to navigate because you can see the sun. So that's pretty easy.
You got this,
Mainly the
Flapper.
mist.
Would you say you said wisdom survival?
Yep.
Oh yeah. 20.
20. Oh, okay. So with Flapper's help, and Flapper, what you'd have to do is like fly up above the mist and then come back down and report to keep everyone on course, because you wouldn't be able to see your friends while you're up above. So you start moving ahead to the west. Navigating along the King's Road is easy enough. It's a road. It's well marked. When the road starts to turn to the north, you continue straight true west, as Killian advised you, and make your way across the downs until finally up ahead, you see looming ahead of you. It looks at first like a storm cloud is gathering, but as you approach, you see that it's clinging low down to the ground, and at its base is dark, and you see it as a great stand of trees, upper reaches of which are cloaked, as the name is of the Cloakwood is given to you, in a massive bank of thick fog. It extends maybe 100 feet off the ground, forming a dome of sorts over the forest. Within the thin mist that rests close to the ground, you can see the dark shapes of massive tree trunks growing here and there. And as the forest looms larger and larger as you approach, as the miles fade away as you march straight across, you see, true to Killian's word, 2 ancient stone columns separated by about 20 feet between them. Weeds and grass growing at their base. And as you pass through them, you feel a strange sensation down your back, as if someone just walked across your grave. And the great trees loom before you like a great dark wall, the mist above them blotting out the sun. And the sounds of nature and the wind around you give way to nothing but dead silence as you take your first steps into the Cloakwood. You see a path that wends its way through the trees. There's no undergrowth here, nothing. Just the trees, like wooden pillars, spaced. There's quite a fair amount of space between them. It looks pristine. The mist clings to you. It's somewhat cool, but the cool, a chill that seems to reach through your clothes right into your heart. It feels almost suffocating. With Flapper flying up through the trees, you have to make your way through the thick foliage. It's warped and twisted. The branches feel as if they're trying to reach out and grab you. But you're able to make your way through, and by flying up above the mist, then coming back down to report to your friends, you keep on true west. And quickly, Flapper, you find the path you're following ever so slightly turns to the south. But luckily, due to your keen eyes and your flight and your sense of direction, you're able to keep your friends on course. And so to the rest of you, Flapper's telling you, leave the path, but continue on to the west. And as you go deeper into the forest, after about an hour of walking, it grows darker and darker until any of you lack dark vision. You'll have to light torches or a lantern to see. And you see that by the light of the torch, are you carrying a torch or lantern, or anyone?
I have a lantern.
Or do you have a lantern? The light has a greenish tinge to it, and you feel as if the darkness of the forest now is closing in on you. At one point as you're walking,
I'm going to go ahead and cast light on my shield and just kind of light up the area.
Even the divine light of Palor has a sickly hue to it. as you cast the light on the path ahead of you. At one point as you walk, you see thick spider webs spun between some of these the tree trunks, a skeleton hanging from it forlornly. That's off to your left, not to the west, but to the south as you continue to go. The trees grow closer together. Strange, tumorous growths now studding, as if they burst out from beneath the bark and are reaching out to form strange, fleshy, branch-like growths. Thick mushrooms, massive toadstools at your feet. You take care as you walk. The ground feels soft, unnatural, as if you're walking across a rotting mattress. And now and again, as you take a step, there's a great jet of spores from a mushroom shoots up around you. With Flapper's help, you continue on to the west. You have maybe about another hour. You think you reached about the center point of this relatively thin section of the forest. You hear whispers, a voice, something from below. Penelope, you hear
Penelope jumps up on top of Keen.
Penelope, join us. What's the highest passive perception? Come below.
14.
11.
Anyone got
14.
a 14? Is 14 our highest?
Yeah.
As
Oh,
Penelope leaps
jeez.
up, as you look, all of you look at Penelope and Flapper. You've just landed after doing a reconnaissance. As Flapper lands and looks, all of you see behind him, bursting from the ground, a long tentacle ending with what looks like a starfish that writhes and twists, and like a cobra striking, rears back and slams into Flapper's back, sending
Damn.
Aarakocra tumbling forward, but only getting on the attack a 13. Does that hit you?
No.
All right, so it slams into you, but you turn just in time, seeing your companion's eyes go wide in fright. You instinctively turn to the side, rolling with the blow and avoiding the worst of it, as you see tentacled arms burst from the grounds around you, ending in these awful 5-fingered hands, like giant starfishes, with spikes all along the inner side. Let's everyone roll for initiative.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Off the ground, everybody.
Oh, I'm last.
Look, I might be too. We might be tied.
Wait, what did you
Evan.
get, Evren?
Avrin got 4.
Evren is a 4. Flapper?
5.
5. Riv?
18.
18. Penelope?
8.
8. Keen?
15.
15. And or Kira?
12.
Well, okay. So, Briv, you see Flapper twist to the side, just avoiding this blow, as 4 of these creatures with incredibly long limbs pull themselves out of the ground, and they look upon you. Fresh meat. Fresh meat has come into our larder and is here to be reaved for our lord, Torog. Riv, what do? There's 4 of them. They've surrounded you.
Well,
So do you
now that I
group
see
them?
them, do I know what they are at all? I recognize
you
them?
give me a intelligence arcana check. As you take a peek at
Terrifying.
16.
16. These are chokers. You've heard of these creatures. They lurk down in the Underdark. They hide themselves within rocky niches and reach out with their impossibly long arms to grasp and choke to death creatures that are foolish enough to enter their domain.
I move forward and try to position myself between the party and the fiends here, and
You can sort of block off like 2 of them.
Okay,
The way they have you
so
surrounded.
I'm doing. Oh, I see what you're saying. They're all the way around us. Okay.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I try to, even knowing that, I still say, "Get behind me," and then I take up a defensive position and I attack the closest one to me.
All right, go ahead and give me an attack roll.
Critical hit.
Okay.
Bam.
Our first
All right.
attack of the campaign is a crit. I
It
love
was meant to be. All right. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay, so that is 16 points of damage with the longsword
Okay.
slashing.
So as you take a position and one of them reaches towards you with its tentacled arms, you slash out with your longsword and cleave one of its hands from the tentacles. It drops to the ground. It shrieks in pain as blood jets from the wound. And it looks at you in horror and staggers back. And in that moment, you reach forward with one mighty blow, drive your blade into its chest, and kick it off the end as it flops to the ground dead.
Who's next?
Nice.
And that's all I do.
So Keen, you see as Briv strides forward, strikes one of them down, and crouches back in a defensive position. There's two others that are trying to move around to attack the group from behind. One of them has its beady little eyes glaring at Briv. What do you wish to do?
You must get down, Penelope. I must be free to move. You will be safe
Can I
between
hop
us.
over to a tree?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you can hop over and grab onto a tree trunk.
Good luck.
I snap the glaive off my back and spin it around my body when she is clear. The one that is looking at Briv that he cannot see is the one that tastes my blade, but not before I speak the words for green flame blades.
Okay. Fire erupts from your weapon. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Jump in the air, spin, and land with a slice. I'm a class 21.
21 will hit. Your weapon cleaves into the foul creatures. The arcane fire flows into the wound. It shrieks in pain. Its shriek echoing through the forest.
12 points of weapon damage and
Okay.
8 points of fire damage.
All right, so your weapon cleaves into it. You have it impaled on the end, and it looks at you, and its eyes lock with yours, and it rears back to reach forward with its claw at your face as the fire then erupts from your is complete the spell. Blast into it, you push it back. The fire, almost as if it's hungry, reaches out and flows around the creature, and it shrieks in pain as there's a sudden flash of arcane energy as the fire turns it to ash.
I spin it back into the next position, ready for the next, if I must.
The other two leap down upon the group. The first one is going to attack Briv. It sees you in a defensive position, and it's going to try to slam you with two of its tentacles grabbing at you. It is going to get a 21 and a 23.
Oh,
Both hit.
Both hit. All right. You take a total of 16 damage as it wraps its massive hands around, trying to get it around your head and your neck. It also has you grappled. And then with supernatural speed, it leaps into the air. And as it leaps into the air, it keeps its hands wrapped around your throat and face, and it brings its feet that unsnap and unfold, showing similar razor-sharp ridges, and it tries to rake them down the front of your chest. It makes 2 additional attacks. It gets a 16 and a 7.
Those both miss.
All right, so it grabs, you're able to recover just in time to get your weapon and shield up as it wraps its 2 feet around your shield and struggles with you mightily to pull it back and out of the way, but you're able to keep it from ripping into you. The other one, seeing Keen dispose of its companion, crouches down and darts in at you, coming in at a low angle. It gets a 1 misses. You're able to take your glaive and knock aside the blow, but with incredible speed, it swoops in with its second one from your unguarded side as you shift just a hair too far to the right and take a critical hit, which is going to be a total of 13 damage as it slashes into. It too, as it grasps onto you, as you feel the hook sink into your flesh, as it grasps onto you, with another quick burst of speed, will try to follow up with its 2 feet. So it grabs onto you and then whips the other arm, the arm that initially missed, around you, entangling you. It leaps into the air and, like a cat, just starts ripping into you with its back claws. 2 more attacks. 1 misses, but one of them catches the back of your leg and tears into you for an additional 8 points of damage. And both of them now, as they draw blood from the wounds, emit a high-pitched keening noise, a wail that echoes through the mist. And all of you feel the ground, the soft, spongy ground below you, shudder ever so slightly. That brings us to Orkira.
All right, so these things are like wrapped around Keen and Briv?
Yep.
All right. I guess I'll go up to Briv because I saw him get hit first, and I want to try to heal him, but can I do that while this thing is wrapped around him, or I gotta like pull this thing off?
No, you would be able to touch him. The thing is probably only about 4 feet tall, so it's really more wrapped around his upper body, like trying to get around his neck, and is raking with its rear legs on his chest. So his back and legs are clear.
I'm gonna come running up and touch Briv wherever I can find a place, like growling back at this thing that's hurt my companion. And I'm gonna cast a quick Cure Wounds. So that's 4. It's gonna be 6 hit points that you get back. And
I thank thee.
yeah, I wish there was something I could do. Like, can I try to pull this thing off, or is it going to take like a full action to do that?
It would take an action to do that. Because you went over and cast a spell. What I would let you do, though, if you want to keep yourself positioned up close to him, you can help him if he tries pulling it off on his turn.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be right there.
Got it.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. So that was on 12, going over to 8. Penelope, you're clinging to the side of a tree. You see 2 of these horrible creatures have erupted from the ground. Your companion slew 2 of them with 2 mighty blows, but the ones remaining have leapt upon Keen and Briv and have them wrapped in a deadly embrace.
Okay, Penelope. Your friend is in trouble. You have to do something. Okay. Penelope will drop off of the tree, land on the ground, and wiggle her nose and shake her tail and transform wild shape into a giant badger.
Okay. Whoosh. A giant badger appears. Is it a bonus action or an action? Can you still take anything else, or is that going to take?
It's an action.
Okay, cool. So you transform into a badger. The 2 creatures look at you dumbfounded by the sudden appearance of a predator amongst them. That was on initiative count 8. This brings us over to Flapper at 5. So you just dodged out of the way. Briv strode forward and cut down the creature that tried to attack you. But now he has a creature wrapped around him, while Orkira tries to help him peel it off of himself.
How far is their range? Their tentacles?
They look like they could reach about 10 feet when they reach out to grasp.
Oh, I got that. So I can fly up like 20 feet and shoot my bow.
Yeah.
But first, I'm gonna mark the one that's on Briv.
Got it. Mark it for death.
You have been marked.
I hope that's how you do it every time.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
You got it. That is a 25.
25
Wow.
will hit.
Oh, okay, great. Wait. Oh, 8. 11 damage.
All right. Briv, you can feel this creature's trying to grab at you, and then suddenly it goes stiff and snarls, and Orkira, you see an arrow has pierced its back, and thick ooze-like blood is slowly draining from the injury. It's almost like this creature is just a bag filled with this weird liquid blood. It's draining out, but it's still clinging to Briv, but you can feel its grasp growing weaker with each passing second as it loses more and more blood from the grievous injury that Flapper dealt to it. Averin, what's up? You can see, what would you like to do?
Right,
so
Briv is still in trouble?
The creature that's grabbing him is pretty badly injured, has an arrow through its back. The one that's wrapped around Keen and is battering him with its claws is uninjured.
Yeah, I'm going after that. I just kind of point and I Hexblade Curse and just draw my big 2 two-handed greatsword, and I'm gonna. Keen, stay very, very still.
I don't have much of a choice.
No, well then. Good on you. And does 14 hit?
As you line up, Keen is able to lock the creature in place for a second, and you line up to strike, and the creature then seems to, like, it looks at Keen, it looks at the blade, and it twists itself to try to put Keen in the blade's path. At just the last moment, you pull back and avoid connecting your attack on the valiant Eladrin as the two wrestle back and forth. That brings us back over to Briv. You feel the creature that's wrapped around you, its strength is fading, but it's still maintaining a lock on you. What do you wish to do?
All right, so I think to myself, if I try to escape this creature, I might do more harm than just going through it. And so I'm letting it continue to grapple me, and I'm just trying to kill it while it's on me. That's a 17.
17 will hit. You're able to get your blade in just between up into its bodies. It's wrapping around trying to take you down.
Does 8 points of damage.
As you slice your blade into it, it shudders, and then suddenly, like the thick blood oozing from the wound turns into a river, as it's almost as if it's twisted itself inside out. Its skin splits, and the ooze splashes down across your legs and onto the ground.
I just kind of start pulling it and prying it from my armor, and thou art vanquished, and slinging it off of me.
Keen, you had one of these creatures grasping on you. It tried to put you in the path of Avern's blade, but the warlock averted the blow just in time. As the creatures, you can feel like its fetid breath washing over your face. It's locked and looking you right in the eye, opening its maw, trying to move in for a bite.
Since he has already put me into motion, I will use that motion against him. I continue the motion and try to rotate my weapon across his throat. I want to attack him.
Got it. Go for it.
18.
18, that will hit. So as he turns and you roll with the motion, he does not expect your glaive to come in from the side and bite into him. Go ahead and roll your damage.
12 points of damage.
All right, your blade connects, slicing into its throat. And as you're cut into it, it turns and twists and pulls its head down into its torso just enough to avoid your blow. Rather than decapitating it, cuts off half of its head. Blood gushes from it, and purely from muscle memory, it tries to dig and rend with its claws. It's going to get 2 more attacks against you. As the body just operating on autopilot, as the head falls away, does a 19 hit?
It does, but I will shield as a reaction if I may.
All right, so as it tries to rip into your shield, the magic, you tap into the weave. Even in this place, this bizarre place where the weave moves strangely, you're able to tap into it, and force magic flows between you and the creature and batters it away. It barely holds on, but its attack thuds against your magical field. And as we come back over to Orkira.
Real quick, is it within 5 feet of me?
Yeah, you would have been attacking it, so it's within 5 feet.
Okay, I have the Sentinel feat, so whenever something attacks someone that isn't me, I get an opportunity attack.
All right. So it actually, as Keen's spell pushes it back, it throws it off balance and leaves a perfect opening for you to go in for a potential killing blow.
Okay.
Do it. Do it. Do
Watch
it.
me
Do
not
it.
kill it.
Do it.
With my Hexblade's curse, that's 21.
That will hit. Your blade slices into it,
And
you cleave the creature in half.
Oh, I wanted to do the math, but
roll it. If you want to do the math,
yes, cleave.
Yeah, go for it.
No.
I'm
happy with cleave. Yeah, I just slice it from whatever end to what other end, his mama gave him. and he's done.
You
Just let's
Mike
slice
says you
into
rolled
its-
cleave, you rolled cleave.
yeah.
It's like slicing
Yeah, I'm
into a water balloon filled with jelly. As your blade cuts into it, it just collapses and the thick, gooey blood sprays everywhere. And as the
I'm
body,
immediately
the
wiping
husk-
off.
It's like a pop balloon that made of rubber flops to the ground. As it hits the ground, all of you again barely feel it, but feel the soft, spongy ground beneath you shudder.
We must get away from here. Quickly,
Right, I'm with
to the
you.
west.
All right, I start
All right.
moving with Keen.
Are
Penelope.
you going to pick
Oh,
up your pace?
that is not Penelope. where did Penelope go?
I'm like a badger climbing on your back.
That is not normal. To the west, Badger. Come, we go.
Yeah, we
The,
should get
um,
out of here before more of these things come.
And I'll take off
Okay.
after them.
Are you going to keep your pace, or do you want to pick it up?
Oh yeah, I want to pick up my
Yeah.
pace.
Want to move?
Yeah,
I'm
Okay.
moving along.
Flapper. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would scout
very
ahead
sadly.
if that's okay.
I am
So
very
Flapper, the
badly
one thing is, if you want people to move quickly, it's you're pretty sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. You with your flight, you feel very confident in your path to the west. So going faster shouldn't mess with your navigation. If you want to do any healing, you can go ahead and take care of that now. Keen is pretty badly hurt. So, and then.
Yeah,
I will-
Keen. Like as we start to move, Keen, how or Kira will like trot up next to you and be like,
Here, you're gonna need this if more of those things will come.
and she'll throw you a cure wounds as well. Ooh, rolled much better that time. That's 9, so you get 9 back.
Many thanks, Dragonborn.
I am going to go ahead and just chug one of my potions of healing.
Got it. Okay. As all of you make your way, to pick up the pace.
I
start moving
pat
quickly.
Briv on the back and hand him my healing potion. I'm like, here, clearly you are a magnet for damage and evil. So
I too will drink a healing potion. We must be ready for the next time.
Could everyone give
We
me
wanna
a
keep-
Constitution check? Oh, sorry.
oh no.
Just a
A
check.
check or a saving?
Just a check.
15.
18.
15?
10.
18?
6.
Uh-oh. 6?
10.
10?
10.
So
Okay.
it's a 3, but I
Everyone's got
rolled a
6.
natural 1.
Okay. Okay. So as you continue pushing onward to the west, picking up your pace, moving faster and faster, you see, and Flapper, you see this as you go above the mist and look, the trees are moving. The trees are moving to block your path. As you try to go to the west, there's always trees in front of you. You have to, though you don't want to, divert to the south, to the north, to make your way around them. Luckily, with Flapper's excellent navigational skills, despite these quick twists and turns, and with Flapper's warnings, you're able to stay on a western course. But you have to push yourselves even faster and faster and harder until as you're moving, the ground below you shudders slightly. And it shudders more. And at one point, Akira, as you're moving, the ground shudders just as you're taking a step, and you fall and twist your ankle. Everyone has to stop for a moment to help pick you up. Avrin, you're feeling really winded. It's like, though you hate to see your companion in pain, as the Dragonborn gets up, you feel each breath is more and more labored. The mist around you grows thicker and thicker. Flapper, you can see it when you fly above it. It's moving. It's moving to grow thicker. It's coalescing in front of your companion's path. The ground beneath you shudders again and again. Shuddering faster now, growing closer.
Move to pick up our fallen comrade. We must keep moving.
We should
Yeah,
stop
Flapper.
and stand our ground. It's clear we will not escape this threat. We need to
Maybe we
craft
can
the
use the
battlefield
card.
to our advantage.
Well,
This
This
battlefield is
battlefield is
theirs.
ground.
You do feel like you're making good time, even with Okira falling and hurting her ankle, and Avrin kind of. You feel the rest of you are able to give enough assistance to your friends to keep up a really fast pace.
Let's keep
The
going.
most
should keep moving
experience
But
we
it's
have
keeping
says
pace
we
with us.
should move quickly.
It's keeping
Yeah.
pace, but it doesn't seem to be growing any closer.
Okay.
It was growing.
Right.
You feel it, the ground shuddering beneath you. And Flapper, as you go up to take another peek, you see the trees, maybe about a half mile behind you, swaying and moving, and occasionally one being knocked over, as something very large is moving through the mist toward you.
Yeah, we need to keep moving forward.
Very well, lead on.
You push.
Yeah.
Running and moving. The trees always looming out of the mist. Now it's so thick around you, even by your light source, with a strange greenish glow that the cloak wood has given to them. The forest seems to be closing in around you. But with Flapper's help, you are able to see with the trees as they move. You are able to see where they're going, and you keep your friends. You dive down to give them guidance. Their course remains true as you go along to the west. Behind you, you hear the crash of trees. Whatever it is that's following you picks up speed, rushing ahead, heedless of the trees in front of it, of the train before it. And as you, Flapper, see trees falling in its path, you see the edge of the forest ahead.
Oh, yes.
And all of you, as you rush and move and duck and weave around the trees that cluster around you, suddenly you burst through a line of trees and find yourselves on the plains, the downs, on the western side of the Cloak Wood. And you hear behind you a frustrated roar echoes through the forest and then goes quiet. And the shuddering of the ground beneath you fades as whatever that creature was departs to go deeper into the Cloak Wood and away from you. You stand true to form of a skilled ranger. Before you are two stone pillars, identical to the ones on the eastern side of the forest.
I am going to go hug this pillar. I am happy to get out of this place.
I'm gonna
I
look
just
at
kind of
Flapper.
say under my
Rousing
breath,
her.
I whisper under my breath, Torog, I will return for thee. And I turn around and keep
Rumbles
walking.
ever
Not
so
today.
I
slightly.
yell, Torog, Brev is going to return for you.
Penelope
I've
pops
moved over
out
to
of being
Flapper.
a badger and says, Torog!
That's 3
Very
times.
brave right
That's
now that
3
we're
times.
done.
Okay.
I'm gonna move over to Flapper. I'm gonna bow my head to her and say,
Thank you. We needed to keep going.
And Flapper says,
Thou art
You're
truly
welcome,
skilled.
but I'm a boy.
"Oh,
It's hard to tell sometimes. So many feathers.
Yeah.
With that plumage. Yeah.
My mistake. And thank you anyway. I don't know what they're trying to summon, but I'm glad that we didn't encounter it.
Me too. That was
Not
real
in fun,
scary.
Well, me and Brev will come back later and have some fun.
Huzzah.
You can do that.
Once
And
again,
Penelope.
your definition of fun and mine are completely opposite.
Thank thou
So
dearly
continue
for
on.
the aid while in the forest, Orkira. I felt the healing energy.
I was glad
Thank
to
thee.
help. We were right to move together, as Keen had suggested. We would have not made it through alone.
He is as wise as he is strange.
We traveled far together. Let us continue.
All right.
All right.
Following your map, Avron's map, upon which Killian marked the location of Kiristan, you see as you make your way across the downs, with a few more hours of marching, the sun has never quite looked so welcome to you. The sky above you is clear, warm, comforting light shining down upon you. It starts to get toward late afternoon. It's starting to get toward dusk. You enter the low rolling foothills of the Ogrefist Hills. And true to your map's markings, as you head up to the hills, you come across a rise of the hills and look down upon what it looks like to be the ruins of a small town. There is a stone wall that once provided protection to this place, but now really just demarcates in this area where the ruins begin and end. Here and there, the stone wall is tumbled inward, other places outward. There's a gate with a iron portcullis that has been dropped in place. It's facing toward your direction. In fact, as you were walking, you would have come across what would remain of a road that once led here, making navigation very easily. You see within a tumble of stone and wood buildings that have fallen over. You can still see here and there what looks like maybe once would have been a grid of streets, but the tumbled ruins have long since fallen down into them. From here, it looks like the entire place is a jumbled mess. It's hard to make out any specific details, but you can see that on the opposite side of the gate, what looks like would have been a main road going through town, there are a few structures that are notably larger than the rest. One near the gate looks like a pretty good size, maybe it was a tavern, and it looks relatively intact. There's also a large stone building near the center of town. Perhaps it's dwarven make, or perhaps it's just lucky, but it's almost entirely intact. It's a cross-shaped structure, essentially 4 wings around a central circular building. And then further nearby, beyond it, is a low stone building, crumbled partially into ruin. Or Kira, you recognize, it looks like would have been a temple of Arathis. It's almost like a small miniature keep, as owing to the Empress, the goddess of civilization. Beyond that, the rest of the buildings are in pretty bad condition. They look like they're mostly residential. And it looks like this place has not been disturbed in quite some time. There is the road continues on into the hills, and you see further beyond, the hills rise up and frame the ruin. There's what looks like maybe once would have been a mine. There's a large shaft, the wooden tower next to it, the tower that was half collapsed. There's a few wagons and carts scattered along the roadside that led up to this main shaft. And there's a path leading on to a few more shafts dug into the hills beyond. It's you have another hour of sunlight or so before it starts to get dark.
Might be a good idea if we made camp.
We shall, but I want to test something first. And so I want to walk close enough maybe to the gate and take out a coin. And I want to throw it as far as I can through the grate into the city.
Got it.
Or into the town.
How close do you want to get to the gate? Like, about how far do you want to be when you throw it?
Well, I mean, I imagine I could throw a coin pretty far. So if I can throw it over a wall, and then I will maintain as safe of a distance as I can to confidently throw it into the town. Got it.
So let's say you're maybe about 20 feet or so away.
Sure.
You're pretty confident from there. You can definitely get across. You said you're throwing it over the wall of the town?
Yeah, however I can get it as far into the town as I can.
Got it, yeah. Okay. Your rear back throw, the coin sails over the side of the wall, and then nothing. You don't hear a clatter. You don't hear anything.
Do I see,
wish to throw a rock.
The rock soars over, and you hear a thud on the other side and the sound of like some debris moving. Sounds like maybe hit the roof of a ruined building on the other side.
I have
excellent, Master Keen. No, you just created a control for my experiment.
Right. I'm digging a hole and stuffing my gold and all my valuables, my rings, and putting them all in the hole and marking it with some twigs and a piece of stone. All right, I'm ready.
Why are you doing that?
Well, the thing is that gold, if you bury it, grows more gold. And if you water it daily, the whole thing. So, yeah, especially during rain season. If you bury all your gold in a place and tell me where it is, you, many months from then, or weeks from then, will find even more gold. It's a weird land.
Penelope, give me one of those shiny things.
He is
Yeah.
pulling thine chain.
Do not do
Don't
this.
listen to Avron is trustworthy perhaps, but definitely not honest all the time. Keen, we
Right.
should take our valuables and store them on this side of the wall of this town. But we should not do what Avron just said.
Right, we shouldn't do what I said. Unless you want to be rich.
I will bury this one copper piece next to his gold. Just in case.
Just so you know, I am putting a gold piece in with his copper when he's not looking.
Make sure you take note of that.
Mike, do we remember how long Agra said they'd abandoned this town? It wasn't that long ago, right?
It was 3 years, so it's been pretty basically this place this far out, just being left alone for 3 years. It looks like what you'd expect, from a place abandoned for 3 years. There's weeds growing through. There are a couple places where it looks like there's been some damage. But nothing that say suggests a siege or anything like that. Looking at it, it looks like could be anything from just a bored ogre coming through and just kicking something over to maybe someone trying to loot the place a little bit. But most of it looks like just the elements, especially the wooden buildings with that time, with and especially as plants have grown, there's a lot of weeds growing everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty rundown.
Okay.
I walk up to the gate this time closer, and I want to do my best to hold my shield as far away from my body and the gate as I can. And then I want to very slowly move my sword through the portcullis and just see if anything happens to my sword.
No, your sword passes through the portcullis.
Okay. And then I give a visible sigh.
Sorry, one quick. Are there any jewels or gems on it?
Not on the sword,
or is
no.
it plain steel?
Unadorned.
No, it seems to be intact. It seems
Okay.
intact. You do notice though,
thank the goddess.
as you hear a rustling noise and see coming out of a stone building. It looks like maybe it was in a guard shack or something. You see floating out a halberd that seems to just be floating of its own accord. And with a passive perception of 14 being the highest in our group, does anyone else have a 14, or is just we have one 14?
I do.
Okay, so both of you
Flapper
have
does.
14s.
High five,
You can
Flapper.
barely make out as you look at this halberd. It's in very bad shape. It's dead. It has not been kept up. The blade looks dull. Everyone else sees a floating halberd. The two of you barely can make out the faint outline of a humanoid, transparent humanoid, looking over all of you and looking over the side, and you hear some rustling coming from down in the ruins. And that's where we will call it today, as we almost right on top of 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll pick
Not
it up.
creepy.
Thank you so much, Mike. That is amazing. I am so excited.
I had a great time. Thanks everyone who tuned in, and we will pick things up next week. We'll continue our adventure here in the ruins of Kiristan. Thank you much,
Yay,
everybody.
thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Awesome.